to everyone. This is Viewpoint on Noyan Tapan TV, and I am Benyamin Poghosyan, Senior Research Fellow at Armenia. Today we will discuss the current phase of Armenia-Azerbaijan negotiations, and we will try to understand what may happen in the near future. After September 2023 military takeover of Nagorno-Karabakh by Azerbaijan, there were many hopes that the main obstacle towards Armenia-Azerbaijan peace was removed, and despite the tragic events and despite the tragedy which faced more than 100,000 Armenians who were forced to leave their ancient homeland, many thought that, okay, at least currently, peace is possible between Armenia and Azerbaijan. Then narrative went on that after Armenia-Azerbaijan peace, we will have Armenia-Turkey normalization. This itself will allow Armenia to reduce its dependence on Russia, because if Armenia fears less of Azerbaijan and Turkey, probably he needs less Russia, and thus the Armenia-Azerbaijan peace and Armenia-Turkey normalization, and then some steps taken by Armenia to move away from Russia will significantly change the geopolitical balance of power in the South Caucasus. However, many experts, including me, were arguing that Nagorno-Karabakh is only one piece in the big puzzle of the relation between Armenia and Azerbaijan, or Armenia-Azerbaijan conflict, and also only one piece in the big puzzle of Azerbaijan and Turkey's strategy toward Armenia. And Azerbaijan is not going to be satisfied only by digesting Nagorno-Karabakh, and Turkey is not going to be satisfied. The primary goal is to weaken Armenia, and the strategic goal is to establish direct connection between Azerbaijan and Turkey. Goal which was there starting from 1918, immediately after the establishment of Azerbaijan Democratic Republic in May 1918, with the support of Ottoman Empire. Of course, during Soviet Union, there was zero chance to realize this dream, but after 1991, Azerbaijan and Turkey again thought about the realization of that dream. First, Nagorno-Karabakh war, which ended by Armenia's victory, put this dream on ice, because the distance between Azerbaijan and Turkey, or in fact between Azerbaijan and Nakhichevan, was approximately 200 kilometers. But after the second Nagorno-Karabakh war of 2020, and especially after September 2023 military takeover of Nagorno-Karabakh by Azerbaijan, now the distance between Azerbaijan and Nakhichevan, and in fact distance between Azerbaijan and Turkey, is in average 35 kilometers. In some places less than 30 kilometers, in some places in Syunik, near Armenian border, for some 42 or 43 kilometers. So what we have after September 2023? First, Azerbaijan cancelled its participation in Western platforms, rejecting to go to Granada and Brussels in October, rejecting to go to Washington in November 2023. Then Azerbaijan imitated the negotiation process, pushing forward for bilateral talks, and by signing a December 7, 2023 statement with Armenia, exchange of some of POWs, and also Armenia's agreement to support Azerbaijan's bid to host the COP29 in November 2024 in Baku. All these steps had only one goal: to show that first, Azerbaijan still is in negotiation process, and second, that multilateral formats are not working while bilateral formats are working. That is why when Azerbaijan rejects multilateral formats and pushes forward for bilateral talks, it does not mean that Azerbaijan is against negotiations. However, we may call it this tactic as an imitation of the negotiation process, because after December 7, 2023, nothing happened, except some meetings of Commission of Delimitation and Demarcation. The last one took place only a few days ago in early March in 2024. But however, during all this process, there is no hope that any peace agreement might be signed. Why? Because now Azerbaijan demands a change of Armenian constitution and different laws. Second, de facto extraterritorial corridor to connect Azerbaijan with Nakhichevan. Third, Azerbaijan rejects to withdraw from all territories which it occupied from Armenia during the attacks in 2021 and 2022. And while Azerbaijan rejects to push its troops out from Armenian territory according to the Almaty Declaration, or Armenian territory according to Soviet Armenia maps, simultaneously Azerbaijan demands that Armenia should give so-called enclaves which were part of Soviet Azerbaijan. So we have interesting situation. Azerbaijan is telling, okay, you should give us some territory because allegedly these territories were part of Soviet Azerbaijan, but I'm not going to give you those territories which I control and we were part of Soviet Armenia. Apparently, negotiations are in deadlock, while Azerbaijan, using much more vulnerable situation of Armenia, because after losing Nagorno-Karabakh, south of Armenia is significantly much more vulnerable. I'm speaking about Vyodorans unique regions, but also other regions, including the Gegharkunik, is not in a good shape. Azerbaijan just threatening Armenia that, okay, give me back additional territories, otherwise, or I will attack you. While I will not give you anything. President Aliyev several times stated clearly that Azerbaijani troops will never move even 1 meter from those Armenian occupied territories, and these simply are not territories, not like 170, 200 or 20 square kilometers of territories. These are strategic heights which allow Azerbaijan de facto to control, I'm speaking about fire control, strategic communications in several areas of Armenia, including Gegharkunik, Vyodor's unique regions. So, we have the situation when negotiations are effectively in deadlock, while Azerbaijan is threatening to use force, while Armenia is seeking to see what to do. And also now, one of the key questions is, which factor or what country or anything which can stop Azerbaijan from new aggression against Armenia? Here we should speak about two types of aggressions. One, limited scale, to take additional territories or part of so-called enclaves, or take additional heights, strategic heights, and make Armenia much more vulnerable. And the second option is a large-scale attack to establish this direct land connection with Nakhichevan and Turkey. Of course, the large-scale attack is less likely due to several reasons, but number one reason, I believe, is clear position of Iran, that any large-scale attack of Azerbaijan to open the corridor with Turkey or establish direct land border with Turkey is unacceptable for Iran, and probably Iran will intervene militarily. And of course, Iran is doing this not because they love Armenia very much or they are very happy with Armenia's foreign policy. Iran is doing this because they believe that if there will be direct land corridor or connection between Azerbaijan and Turkey, this will be a vital security threat towards Iran. And Azerbaijan understands that if Iran intervenes militarily, definitely it will be very bad for Azerbaijan. Of course, Baku may hope that then Turkey may intervene to support Azerbaijan based on June 2021 Shushi Declaration. But again, even if we will have a global regional war with Iran, Turkey, Azerbaijan, Armenia, potentially Russia, let's not forget that Russian troops still are deployed in Armenia, and Russia also views South Caucasus as a sphere of its influence, and definitely Russia will not be happy to see how South Caucasus is being divided between Turkey and Iran. Even if there is a regional war, no guarantees that this will end good for Azerbaijan. So regardless of the two options, Azerbaijan attacks, large-scale attack against Armenia, Iran intervenes, no one intervenes else, very bad for Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan attacks Armenia, Iran intervenes, Turkey intervenes, Russia intervenes, global regional war, and no one can anticipate or assess these implications. It could be good for Azerbaijan, but it also could be the end of Azerbaijani statehood. So the key thing, hard power deterrent thing, which probably prevents Azerbaijan from launching large-scale attack against Armenia, is Iranian position. Of course, there is also the potential sanctions of the West, which are not very clear, by the way, because no one can argue that even if there is a large-scale attack against Armenia, all 27 countries of the European Union will vote for EU sanctions against Azerbaijan, including cutting gas supplies. Of course, individual countries of the EU can put some sanctions, including France, but this will not be devastating for Azerbaijani's economy. And even if EU puts sanctions on Azerbaijan, this will not destroy Azerbaijani economy within months or even within years. We see how there are many countries under different type of sanctions which are resisting for decades and decades. And of course, US also could put some sanctions against Azerbaijan, or even US can put some sanctions personally against President Aliyev's family or President Aliyev himself. But again, all these will not destroy Azerbaijani economy very quickly. It will take years. Plus, no one knows that what type of sanctions will be imposed. So in general, the Western deterrence tools, mostly economic sanctions, they are not too much viable for which Azerbaijan will not launch large-scale attack. But however, if on large-scale attack against Armenia, Iran, at least Iran, has a plausible hard power deterrence, if we speak about limited escalation to take additional territories, some enclaves or strategic heights, in that case, most probably no one is going to intervene. So from Armenian perspective, situation is very interesting. Armenia de facto accepted the loss of Nagorno-Karabakh, and in September 2023 did nothing to support Nagorno-Karabakh, simply saying that, okay, it's not my business. The maximum which I can do is to integrate or help these 105,000 refugees from Nagorno-Karabakh, presumably hoping for peace with Azerbaijan, normalization with Turkey, opening borders, economic growth, etc., etc. Nothing happens, and Armenia is facing new escalation by Azerbaijan, and limited escalation is significantly highly likely, while large-scale escalation is not likely, but not likely for example, in 2024. No one can tell what will happen in, for example, early 2025. Will Iran still be capable of this hard power deterrence? What will happen if the Middle East crisis will spiral out of control, if there will be direct military clashes between Iran and Israel, or even Iran and the United States? In current circumstances, Armenia should do several things. One, Armenia should stop irritating or antagonizing deliberately or indeliberately Russia and Iran. Any action which can provoke Russia, which can make Russia anti-Armenian, or which can raise concerns in Iran, or which may put some doubt in Iran about the necessity to support Armenia, Armenia should stop doing this. Second, definitely Armenia should accelerate its connections or policy towards military improvements, trying to raise the cost for Azerbaijan, at least for the large-scale attack cost. If no one is going to intervene, at least Azerbaijan should know that, okay, large-scale attack against Armenia will be very painful for Azerbaijan. So as of now, after losing of Nagorno-Karabakh, Armenia faces a very tough situation. Some sort of attack is highly likely, probably limited scale, but for preventing the large-scale attack, again, two things Armenia should do. First, do not provoke, antagonize, or push away Russia and Iran. Second, do everything to send a clear message to Azerbaijan that Azerbaijan will pay high cost if it attacks Armenia. This is all for today, and we will meet soon.